The 1000, as you can see, we're standing at 1000 start now. You probably run straight for maybe 100 metres, and then you drop away for best part of 200 metres, and then it's flat straight down to the winning post. The 1200, you've actually got 200 metres climbing before you get to here. And as you can see behind us, the straight isn't quite straight. There is actually a kink in it as well, just to throw another bit into it.
I find those real speedsters can just get that run on down the hill, and they can get motoring and can sometimes be quite hard to peg back. As we can see, it's not pan flat, so you're running downhill before it then almost has a little bit of a rise, and as Ed's alluded to, a kink in it as well. So there's a lot more to factor here than just a standard straight flat 1000 metres like you might get at Shartin, for example. There's not much bias necessarily with where you want to go. As we know, the Shartin straight 1000 can often bias the horses on the stand side rail. There's no such thing really. Some days it can favour slightly the stand side, but then sometimes it can favour the centre. Bend you can see here on the right is it's a lot more of a sort of smoother, progressive bend, and you can sort of take it at any speed really. Obviously we had the 1400 metre start, so they're going at quite a decent pace into that. However, if you look onto the bend on the left, it's a lot tighter. You can't quite see the angle of the bend, but usually you'll take a bit of a pull into those bends. You'll steady your horse up a little bit to take that, maybe get a bit of a breather in after the rise. And then as soon as you've turned, that's when you start getting your horse really into the race. I think as soon as you've turned that final bend up at the top, you're running downhill, and that's where you're starting to get your horse's momentum really up before the last couple of furlongs. Occasionally
there's the odd time that they sort of slightly start to go the wrong way, but we have the yellow cones out and we cordon off whichever bend they're not going round, so just to make sure that nobody makes a mistake. And the top bend's got an artificial camber put onto it, so it does tend to potentially dry a little bit quicker, but then the bottom bend, the topsoil's quite thin, so again we just have to be a little bit careful what we do with that.
It's something that you're just waiting to come at that point. If you're stuck on the rail, you've got a lot of horse underneath you, you're just looking for gaps, and once this arrives, it just gives you the opportunity for things to open a little bit more.
It worked brilliantly. You saw Stradivarius, no, 2 years ago maybe, you saw Stradivarius get out of trouble when he got beaten by Kyprios 2 years ago, and nearly won just because that gap opened up for him.